Good evening. My name is Abigail Winters, and today we will be reading Sleeping Beauty. Once upon a time, in a faraway land long ago, there was a kingdom filled with peasants, lords and ladies, fairies, and of course a king and queen. Poor King Stephen and Queen Leia wished desperately for a child. At last, they are blessed with a daughter. They named her Aurora after the rising sun, for she became the light and center of the king and queen's life. To honor the baby princess, King Stephen held a great feast. The nobles, peasants, knights, lords, and ladies flocked joyfully to the castle. King Stephen welcomed his good friend King Hubert to the feast. He soon remembered that King Hubert had binge-eating disorder. After finding King Hubert at the table gobbling up all the food, "Hubert, leave some for the rest of us," King Stephen laughed. "I know, I'm so sorry. I'm so fat. I should stop eating. I'm horrible," Hubert wailed while shoving another roll into his mouth. Now, Hubert, come. You can go to group therapy for your issue later. Now, let's introduce your young Prince Philip to his future bride," King Stephen exclaimed. For the little Princess Aurora was destined to marry Prince Philip and unite the kingdoms. Among the guests were 3 good fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather. Each of them wished to bless the baby princess with a gift using their magic. Waving her wand, Flora chanted, "My gift shall be the gift of beauty, and mine," said Fauna, "shall be the gift of song." Merryweather was about to bestow her gift on the child when the castle doors flew open. The evil witch Maleficent soon appeared, emerging out of a ball of green fire in the middle of the room. Merryweather ran from the princess's side to hide behind her friends. "Why did you desert the princess?" Fauna questioned. "I'm so sorry. It's just that I have ornithophobia," Merryweather replied. "What?" asked Fauna, confused. "I have an irrational phobia of birds," Merryweather whispered. "It's just a bird. Did you know that ravens are as smart as chimpanzees and dolphins?" Fauna asked. "I did not wish to know that," Merryweather replied, horrified. Maleficent scowled at the whispering fairies. "Whispering about me, are you?" she screamed. "This whole kingdom is out to get me, plotting my demise, not inviting me to the feast on purpose." "No, this is a misunderstanding. This is a feast to celebrate the birth of my daughter," King Stephen explained. "So she is the one who is going to kill me? Well, then I will have to rid this kingdom of her first," Maleficent screeched. "I, too, have a gift for the newborn babe," she sneered. "She shall indeed grow in grace and beauty, but before the sun sets on her 16th birthday, she shall prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die." With a cruel laugh, she vanished, leaving everyone in the room stunned. But Merryweather, composing herself now that the raven had left, the witch returned to the princess and for her gift tried to undo Maleficent's curse. She waved her wand over the infant and chanted, "If through this witch's trick a spindle should your finger prick, not in death but just in sleep, the fateful prophecy you'll keep, and from this slumber you shall wake. When true love's kiss the spell shall break." "What did you do? Is she saved?" the grief-stricken queen asked after Merryweather finished. "She won't die, but I can't change the prophecy. She will prick her finger before her 16th birthday, but instead of dying, she will have narcolepsy and uncontrollably fall into a deep REM sleep." King Stephen ordered that every spinning wheel in the land be burned, but he still feared the witch's curse, so the 3 good fairies hatched a plan. They would take Aurora to live with them, deep in the woods, safe from Maleficent. The king Agreed. They watched with heavy hearts as the fairies hurried from the castle carrying the baby Princess Aurora. To guard their secret, the fairies disguised themselves as peasant women and changed Aurora's name to Briar Rose. The years passed quietly, and Briar Rose grew into a beautiful young woman. At last, the princess reached her 16th birthday. Planning a surprise, the fairies sent her out to pick berries. Fauna baked a cake for her, while Flora and Merryweather sewed her a new gown. "Fauna, you messed up the spices," Flora complained. "Here, give me that," grabbing the sugar from Fauna. "I need to fix it." "Flora, it was fine. Don't worry about the order of the spices. Just focus on the dress. Did you know that the silkworms that made the silk to make that dress produces the finest silk and is called Bombox Mori?" Fauna asked. "No, I can't focus on the dress with the spices out of order. Just let me fix them," Flora wailed. "Just let her fix the spices. You know she has obsessive-compulsive disorder, and your savant syndrome is starting to get annoying," Merryweather said. "No, she needs to get over it. Just focus on the dress. Maybe you should go see a psychologist or go to support group." "And at least I'm talking now," Fauna said. They were silent for the rest of the morning. In a mossy glen, Briar Rose danced and sang with her friends, the birds and animals. She told them of her beautiful dream about meeting a tall, handsome stranger and falling in love. A handsome young humanistic psychologist came riding by. When he heard Briar Rose singing, he jumped from his horse and hid in the bushes to watch her. Due to the mirror neurons in his brain, he was able to learn the dance she was dancing. Then he reached out and took her hand and danced with her. Briar Rose was startled. "I didn't mean to frighten you," the young man smiled, "but I feel like we've met before." Briar Rose felt very happy. She and her admirer gazed into each other's eyes. The young man didn't know she was Princess Aurora, and she didn't know he was Prince Philip, to whom she had been betrothed many years before. Back at the cottage, the fairies gave Briar Rose her birthday surprises. Then Briar Rose told them that she had fallen in love. "Impossible!" they cried. They told her the truth at last, that she was a royal princess, betrothed at birth to a prince. Now it was time for her to return home. Briar Rose was so upset. She was attached to her fairies who had raised her and didn't want to be separated from them. But poor Aurora was led away, pining for her handsome stranger and her fairies. Maleficent's raven, perched on the chimney of the cottage, had heard everything. It flew off to warn Maleficent that the princess was finally returning to her rightful home. Maleficent sped to the castle. There, using her evil powers, she lured Aurora to a high tower. In the tiny room, a spinning wheel suddenly appeared. "Touch the spindle," hissed Maleficent. "Touch it, I say!" The three good fairies rushed to the rescue, where they were too late. Aurora had touched the sharp spindle and instantly fallen into a deep sleep. Maleficent's cruel curse had come true. Now the harsh laugh of the witch vanished. The fairies wept bitterly. "Poor King Stephen and the Queen," said Fauna. "They'll be heartbroken when they find out," said Merryweather. "They're not going to," said Flora. "We'll give the entire castle narcolepsy and put them all to sleep until the princess awakens." So the three fairies flew back and forth, casting a dreamlike spell over everyone in the castle. Meanwhile, Prince Philip had gone to see his patient Maleficent. "I think you have displaced your feelings onto the innocent girl. It's okay, though. You can do better than this. You can overcome these feelings of hatred that are stemming off from your delusion," Prince Philip called to Maleficent. "No, she can't hurt me now. Isn't that right, boys?" Maleficent said with a smile. Maleficent, there is no one here but you and me. Those goblins are not real. You're hallucinating. You have schizophrenia, remember? I normally wouldn't prescribe antipsychotic drugs, but the client-centered therapy isn't working. And I think that would be the best option for you right now, Prince Philip said soothingly. You're going to free your Briar Rose, aren't you? You're going to break my curse on Aurora. Using her magic, she locked him in a dungeon, never to see his princess again. But the good fairies had other plans for him. Using their magic, they melted the prince's chains. They armed him with the shield of virtue and the sword of truth. Then they sent him racing to awaken the princess. But Maleficent's pet raven saw everything and flew to warn Maleficent. Meriwether saw the raven fly away and shuddered. Prince Philip looked at her and said, "The best way to overcome your fear is to face it. Exposure therapy. It's your only option." Meriwether picked up the last of her courage and raced after the raven, turning him to stone before warning Maleficent. But Maleficent saw Philip escaping. She furiously tried to stop him. She hurled heavy boulders at him, but the brave prince rode on. When Philip reached Aurora's castle, Maleficent caused a huge forest of thorns to grow up all around it. Philip hacked the thorns with his powerful sword. In rage, the witch soared to the top of the highest tower. There she changed into a monstrous dragon. "You want to free your princess? The princess set out to destroy me, then I shall destroy you," she shrieked. Maleficent breathed huge waves of flame. Philip ducked behind his strong shield. Thunder cracked. Flames roared around him. The prince fought bravely. "You don't have to do this. You can overcome this," Philip pleaded, but it was no use. She wasn't listening anymore. Guided by the good fairies, he flung his magic sword that was laced in antipsychotic drugs straight as an arrow. It buried itself deep in the dragon's heart, and the beast fell confused. Maleficent was taken to a mental hospital where she would be able to recover and recuperate. Philip raced to the tower where his love lay sleeping. Gently he kissed her. Aurora's eyes slowly opened. She was awake. "Typically, I would have to give one with narcolepsy medications to heal them," he laughed, slightly ruining the moment. But Aurora didn't care. She loved him, and now everyone was awake, smiling. The king and queen were overjoyed to see Aurora again, and wedding plans were soon made. The good fairies were blissful too. It all ended just as it should, happily ever after. The end.